This video is about solving simple radical equations using algebra. Now yesterday we talked about solving them using graphs and tables where we could visually see the answers. You can also do this just using simple algebraic manipulations. So let's look for the first one. Solve for x. It says the square root of x plus 2 equals 6. So the first thing we're going to do is subtract 2 from both sides, and we'll have the square root of x equals, and 6 minus 2 is 4. And then to undo a square root, we're going to square both sides. So we'll have x equals 16. And that's the answer. But every time you solve using algebra, you have to make sure you check your solutions. So I'll just take the 16 and I'll plug it back in. The square root of 16 plus 2 equals 6. So when the instructions on your quiz, test, whatever it is, if it says check it, I need to see the check on the paper. Alright, so we've got the square root of 16. 6 minus 2 is 4. And does the square root of 16 equal 4? Yes, 4 equals 4. So it is a good answer. Okay, here's another one. Let's see, we're going to solve for the square root of x plus 2 equals 1. We're going to solve for x. So we're going to take away 2 from both sides, just like we did before. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. And it says the square root of x equals negative 1, so we will square both sides. Make sure you square all of the negative 1. Negative 1 squared is positive 1, so x equals 1. If we check it, we say the square root of 1 plus 2 equals 1. The square root of 1 is 1 plus 2 equals 1. So 3 equals 1. Oops, it doesn't check. And there's not a plus or minus in front of here. It's only plus. So this is only plus. It's not negative 1. So it does not work. And if it doesn't work and nothing works, then we would say no solution. So you see, if you don't check your answer, you might give me an answer of x equals 1. And of course, if this was multiple choice, I'd probably put that as a choice. But really, it's no solution. All right, let me thicken up my pen here. I don't like that really thin, scraggly stuff. All right, next problem. 2 times x plus 1 all to the 1/2 power equals 8. Now, do y'all remember what that 1/2 power means? I hope you do. It's the same thing as saying 2 times the square root of x plus 1 equals 8. So when we solve this, the first thing that we're going to do is divide both sides by 2. And we'll have the square root of x plus 1 equals 4. And then we will square both sides. And when I say both sides, I always mean sides. So if we square this whole side like this, then the square root is going to cancel out, and we're going to have x plus 1. And if I square the 4, I get 16. And then take away 1, x equals 15. So let's check it. 2 times 15 plus 1 to the 1/2 power should equal 8. You always want to plug it into the original, the one you started with. Can't just go to somewhere where you've done algebra and plug it in there and say it works. You have to start back at the original. So that's saying 2 times 16 to the 1/2 power equals 8. And 16 to the 1/2 power is 4, so 2 times 4 equals 8. And that is true. 8 does equal 8. So we are good. We're happy. X equals 15. Okay, next example. Solve for x. The square root of negative 2x equals x plus 4. So when we undo a square root, we have to square both sides. And I keep saying both sides, and that's because if I square this side, then the square root cancels out and I get negative 2x. And if I square this side, I'm going to have to FOIL. And that's very important. If you don't FOIL, you won't get the right answer. So negative 2 equals x plus 4 times x plus 4, which is x squared plus 4x plus 4x is 8x, plus 4 times 4, so plus 16. And we're left with a quadratic. Now we just spent 9 weeks working on quadratic equations. So you guys know that you have to set your quadratic equal to 0 in order to solve it. So I'm going to add 2x to the other side. That gives me 10x plus 16. So now that I have that, You have multiple ways of solving this. You can use whatever way you want. You can graph it, you can factor it, you can use the quadratic formula. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to factor this one because it factors into x plus 2 and x plus 8. Because 8 times 2 is 16 and 8 plus 2 is 10. And if that equals 0, then that means that x is negative 2 and negative 8. So I have two answers, but I need to check them. So I'm going to come over here now, and I'm going to say the square root of negative 2 times negative 2 equals negative 2 plus 4. That was the original problem. So what we have here is the square root of positive 4 equals, and then negative 2 plus 4 is 2, and the square root of 4 is 2, so 2 equals 2. That works. That's awesome. All right, now let's check the other one. We want to take the square root of negative 2 times negative 8 equals negative 8 plus 4. So we're taking the square root of positive 16 equals negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4. Now, note this is the positive square root of 16, so this is positive 4. And positive 4 does equal negative, or does not, sorry, I just got interrupted by somebody, and so 4 does not equal negative 4. Nope, so that's not a good answer. Negative 8 will not work. The only answer that does work, x equals negative 2. And we're finished. And that is the end of our little show. And here's your joke. And of course, the math jokes that are funny and that you can understand, that's this little piece of the pie. These are all my jokes right here. My jokes are awesome. You know you love them. Actually, it's more like this, because mine are all funny. See? All right. You guys have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.